quick little editor's note, I'm a bit sick, and I'm recording this in the morning, so if my voice sounds very nasally, or I just sound very off, that's because, well, those two things. So, anyway, yeah, let's continue. Hello there, this is Mr. Wampa. Now, quick disclaimer before the video actually starts. This holds explicit adult content and drama. If that's not what you're into, then you have the right to click out of the video. However, I would recommend watching to the end. This is information that a lot of people, I believe, are going to need to know if you plan on supporting me in the future. This is honestly not how I wanted to reveal my voice, but unfortunately, the situation is too bad to ignore. Now, first things first, I would like to get this section quickly over with. To be really honest, I've been wanting to make this video for a long time. And honestly, this video should have come out way sooner than it did. But at the same time, I've been a little hesitant regarding publishing this video. In addition to being very busy spending some time away from the internet, that way I can instead focus on my priorities, that being my family and such. So, I'm gonna be real. Part of me is starting to believe doing so would probably be for the best. Now, before this video actually begins, I would like to acknowledge the fact that everybody's boundaries, everyone involved in the situation, it's completely justified. And everyone has the right to feel the way they do about the situation. I have no control in what you believe. However, I suggest that you take this apology with an open mind. This video, despite taking longer than it should, probably wouldn't have come out the way it did if it weren't for the time I've taken off. So, all I ask is for you to please listen to what I have to say. To many people, I was manipulative, dishonest, ranty, and just annoying overall. And if not that, then very moody is definitely one of them. I didn't acknowledge the fact that people have different types of limits, considering how crude my humor can be, and how I really never gave myself a filter most of the time. Not having the greatest communication skills is one thing, but being full of yourself to where you never really consider or even think of why whatever's being said can come off as bothersome to a person, that's a whole new level. I realize now that it's led to resentment and negativity on me. I didn't treat the situation with serious intent, and it went over my head. I was blowing off these mistakes when what I should have done was acknowledge and actually grappled with the situation, rather than making excuses or pointing at others' faults instead of my own. Some people genuinely wanted me to change, to grow, but I didn't. I believe that there's been a lot of people who've probably spent a lot of time explaining the same thing to me 100 times before, only for the reply or my thoughts to turn out to be that I'm gonna do it my own way anyway. So, like, you know, I thought it would encourage me. You know, I thought I was defending myself, or I was acting tough or brave or anything or something like that, something stupid like that. But, and you know, it did work, but just maybe a little too well. So you think after that, you know, some backlash on Discord, some people, and also getting called out, you think it finally get through my head, right? No, not really. Getting called out made me feel more resentment and have hatred towards people, with past problems becoming worse somehow. Now, I would end up saying stuff like, I've had this revelation because of something I or someone else said. Or I would always say things like, I don't mean to brag, or I don't mean to gloat, without realizing that I was essentially doing it anyways. I saw myself as this main character, I guess. And, and the things I wanted to value, people's opinions, feedback, and people's hard work, it would simply go right over my head, downright sometimes pushing it away. And the ranting honestly didn't make it any better. I would end up ranting about things to people who, to put it lightly, didn't give a shit. Why would they? Like, it makes them uncomfortable. And I didn't listen. I just didn't listen. Because I was too selfish to acknowledge the fact that people have feelings as well. I do feel terrible about this behavior, and it was wrong of me. To all the people I hurt, I don't expect apologies, I don't expect any forgiveness, but I do wish for you to allow me to atone for those actions. These past 7 months were tough on me, and it goes much farther than just online drama. Within that time, I've been hit with this time and time again, complaint after complaint, over and over. And for the longest time, I refused to believe that I was in the wrong. Not surprisingly, I was wrong. And I want to say that I'm sorry for that. Knowing all this now does worry me a bit. To think that I might have been this bad, and I had no idea. Like, it does hurt to know that even when I tried to put effort, you know, when when I did feel bad about something, or I tried to acknowledge something somebody was trying to say, I still didn't really understood, and I would still do it anyways. And that does concern me. It makes me think that I can be so self-absorbed or thick-headed, I can be incapable of change. And I don't want that to be the case. That's why I'm here to not just make this response, but also confirm that I am going to be taking therapy from now on, which is another reason why I haven't been active on the internet for a bit. It's something that I honestly need. And I can't rely on friends, online or personal friends anymore, to like help me with those kinds of things. So I need professional help. My goal here is to explain what I did wrong and how I plan to continue going forward. I want to keep this response authentic, and I don't want to leave any info behind. I want to be as truthful as I possibly humanly can. I may not be able to fix this drama, and I'm aware that fancy words aren't enough, but the least I can do is give closure to all this, which leads to the next subject. In regards to Birth of Havoc, I am well aware that its development was very disorganized, and that I had a key role in the project's disorder and downfall. I take responsibility for this, and I'll own up to that mistake, as I've served as the team's leader and primary director, losing grasp of what I wanted. Throughout the process, there were instances where most members, including I, had differing expectations, preferences, and changing opinions. These factors contributed to the challenging environment and added complexity to the production. There wasn't a time when any of us active members in the project wasn't shooting each other's ideas or opinions down, or just making selfish demands. It was hard to work with anyone because all of us just wanted what we wanted rather than considering the team and the members behind it. And if drastically done, how much it could conflict with members of the project who just wanted what they were promised of me, who didn't expect the change when it did. There were uncalled for changes, which I believe everyone has been a victim to. Most of us active members, including I, being the source of it. Many of us had a huge lack of respect for one another, and would only demand the things we wanted. There were a multitude of challenges, including varying levels of commitment, conflicting schedules, and difficulties in maintaining consistent communication, both channels or DMs. As a result, it became more challenging to ensure that everyone was on the same page and had access to the necessary information. I began to realize the difficulties that can arise from such a large group. Communication became increasingly complex, with information sometimes being lost or overlooked, and it became more challenging to ensure everyone was up to date or even involved in. It was an overwhelming task, without a defined stopping point to clear structure, and the project lacked a sense of direction and became increasingly stressful for me and everyone else to navigate. People were losing hope, and so was I. I'm going to leave it here for now, but there's a lot more that needs to be talked about when it comes to the nasty production of Sonic Birth of Havoc. Though I'm going to save it for the second video. I'll link it at the end of this one. This is where we go to the next subject of the video. As in the time I'm recording this, I genuinely don't know what I'm going to be doing continuing forward. I know as a fact I want to atone for my actions, as I said before, and I want to genuinely learn from all this. I need to, and I still feel, even making this response, that I have a lot more to learn. And I'm willing to take any step possible to do so. When it comes to other things in the meantime, I really can't say. However, I will say, I'm going to be leaving the internet for a long time. Probably years. And that, especially Twitter. It's a decision I've been wanting to make for a long time. This goes way longer than just the drama that I'm currently in. However, I will say that both the drama and also personal things in real life have just kind of broke the camel's back for me. Plus, the project itself really just taking a lot out of me. Hell, how much has taken a toll on everyone. I wanted to create something great when I was working on Birth of Havoc, as I said before, and I think, as I said before, I don't know. I wanted to create something great with Birth of Havoc, only to see it turn out the way it is now, and the amount of pain I and others have inflicted to each other, it's devastating. All I can really say is that I'm sorry for the poor management decisions that have led to the downfall of this project. To all the people who wanted to see this project turn out great, you know? I'm disappointed, and I believe everyone else is also disappointed. in the result of this project. And unfortunately, that is the result of my own actions. I want to take responsibility for all this. I have to. And I didn't have enough courage when I was doing such an ambitious project. And the result is that I relied on other people to do it for me. I should have been more clear in what I wanted and strict in what I believed in. Whether people would accept that or not, they could leave. They have the right. Instead, every time someone left, I bring them back thinking I can't do it without them. When what I truly needed was to go with my word and stick with it. If I just knew what I was doing with the story, heck, if I knew what I knew now, maybe we could have at least gotten a script done. And there's honestly no way I can excuse any of this, unfortunately. I didn't know what I was doing from the start. That's the truth. The saddest part is that this project could have seen the light of day. And because of all the people who counted on me, it just hurts even more, keeping that in mind. I don't think I'm truly going to be able to forgive myself for that, for what I've done. I turned something that I and other people loved into a pool of negativity, and I'll forever deeply regret never living up to the expectations that I forced on myself and people who put their trust in me and believed in me. That the team members placed in me. It's only caused harm, and I genuinely believe that this project could have been great. I believed in it. Everyone did. And I wanted nothing more than to see it just succeed and fulfill the collective vision that a lot of us had. It was a good project with a fantastic idea, but it had ambition, yes, but it had nothing else to fill it. To all the members who have spoken out about their experiences, although I don't agree with everything, I do thank you for being honest. It really has opened my eyes to everything that happened these past 5 years, and I'm deeply hurt for the damage I caused. I failed you. Okay, so for people who don't know, essentially what lolly means is explicit drawings of an underage character. I've never been so scared to explain something in my entire life. But unfortunately, in order to get this situation into a proper closure, I have no choice. The drama considering the artist I've spoken to. Honestly, where do I even begin? Now, I should give a warning. This might end up being the lengthiest part of the video. This situation is something not to take lightly, and I still have trouble grasping it myself. At a point, I created an alternative account. An account for the purpose of posting NSW. That being adult explicit art. Now, to be clear, I was not creating any lolly art. I've heard some people say that, and it actually baffles me. But rather, my intention was caught by the artist in question. They commented on my art, specifically complimenting my line work and how it was similar to theirs. When I originally saw the art, I focused more on the animation. The art itself, I just glanced over, and nothing seemed suspicious to me at the time. I was just happy that I was gaining positive attention. Wanting to start a collaboration for a long time, I immediately jumped into the idea of reaching out to this person in hope that it would give me a bigger work boost or a boost in cash, views, and likes. In other words, I was desperate. And it was then getting deeper into the conversation, I realized too late that I was talking to an artist that turned out to draw lolly. It was the last pictures they sent to me that clicked in my mind at that moment. And before I could take it all back, screenshots were taken by Kyoto and Donna's group before I had the chance to unlike those photos or, again, take back what I did. I'm sorry for this behavior, and I realize that it's a disgusting thing. I realize that the character is underage and that is meant to resemble the body of a child, which is just morally wrong, and it was ignorant of me to look over it and not inspect it more. I didn't think that people would still be making that stuff. I know that sounds dumb, but that's what I thought. Because I haven't seen it before on my Twitter. I haven't seen it on my feed or any other social media platform. I'm not going to be searching for that kind of thing when I didn't even know what it was at the time. I was simply too oblivious to understand how people could simply still draw that. And I know now that I am very wrong about this. There are people who still draw this stuff. Looking through the gathered photos I've collected for this response and looking at the one specifically of me replying to the first image that they sent, I could see now why this is lolly. I can see why it's bad. But at the time, the character did not look like that to me. It didn't click in my mind to be a child because I only considered the art style of it. I'm not an anime guy. I'm only aware of the ones that are popular. And hey, so quick edit. I looked at the picture a little more, and I think what I have noticed about this picture is that there seems to be a cleavage or a breast line. Not that this really matters. I just wanted to bring that up because that's another reason why I thought the character was probably an adult character. Until someone gave me the information that apparently underage characters in the world of the internet can also have breasts. I don't even know, man. For my likes on Twitter, one of them having an NSFW drawing of a Dragon Ball character that I decided to like. I didn't have prior knowledge to that character's background. I assumed that it was a character, an adult character in the Dragon Ball franchise, since a lot of them have the same hair. And now it's come to my attention that the character that I was liking was a child, which when I was liking those pictures, the character had an adult figure. It had an aged up body. So looking at that specifically made me think the character was an adult. I didn't think that you could make underage characters look like adults as well. It's a character I've never seen before, and I'm still not knowledgeable of these things. I'm sick and tired of people pretending that, people like that, like me, don't exist, who don't get these things right away, who just don't know it. Not long ago, before getting kicked out of multiple servers, I had to explain to some random people what lolly was, and when the drama first came out and stuff like that online, that it wasn't before they themselves kicked me out. This is something not everybody's going to know. The picture itself had a female character doing an action that I cannot explain, but I can explain the fact that it was a flip-a-clip GIF, and it was a specific canvas size, so the body for both the female and male character were cut in half. The face and what she was looking at being the main focus of the animation. And because of that, I didn't pinpoint anything that looked noticeably young to me or anything that came out as a child when it comes to body. I was more focused on translating the guy's Spanish rather than looking at the drawing. This is why I made an overall behavior section. At the end of the day, this is just another example of how my brain just doesn't slow down and how it moves quicker than I can think. Yes, it's true. I talked to one. Attack me for it. Waste your time, because no matter what you do, the truth will always be is that this was something I didn't intentionally intend on doing. I take responsibility for talking to one or recommending a collaboration, at least, but I cannot stress this enough. I do not like lolly. I do not like to look at it. I do not like to think about it. And I most importantly didn't know what it was. I don't and will never condone those actions in any shape or form. Not now, not later, not ever. So I think it's safe to say that I need to grow more of a backbone. And I need to say whatever I think is right, even if people hate me for it. I've been nothing but a yes man, out of fear of people's demands. So bad, in fact, that one time I deleted an entire channel in the Birth of Havoc server because I did not know how to stop an argument between a bunch of people. Doing this made it worse, and, it was just bad. I kept worrying about how I projected myself to people, And by doing so, it ended up being a crucial part to why the project ended the way it did. I would act out of fear, like a coward, thinking that I had trust issues, when the actual problem was I trusted too many people. I say this because certain parts of the drama were painted in certain ways, as an act of hate and pettiness. Things that not everybody actually knows online, and it's been distorted to come off as what truly happened. In order to clarify the absolute truth of the situation at hand, I would like to explain why I didn't respond sooner. So it's been 7 months since the drama began, 6 additional months since the lolly began, and then 2 months, or 3, when this all got out. And in that time, I had enough to defend myself on. I could have gotten this response out the moment it all started spreading to the public. However, this goes much deeper than you might have originally thought. So I was manipulated into thinking that I shouldn't defend myself. Let me explain. I wanted to respond way back when I was getting called out by one of the people named Lovely Donna on Twitter. But the reason why I didn't is because Kyoto told me that it'd be wise to keep it under wraps and that we keep it between us. It's when it got bigger, that's when I really thought to myself, okay, now I gotta make a response. Otherwise, my reputation is over. And it's when I'm deciding to do that, you know, I'm getting slandered by a bunch of memes, once again, by Kyoto and his friends. And then I get a message from Neb, Kyoto's friend. He wanted to talk to me, feeling worried about my safety and how he wanted to help. I agreed, and I talked with him. We had this, like, weird interview thing. That's kind of how he worded it. And we just talked. And to be honest, I had somewhat of a suspicion when it came to those things. He would ask me about the project and have other people do it for me or something like that. And I don't understand the motive of all that. But at this point, it doesn't matter. I still thought that I could trust him anyway. That's my point. And he would tell me that I shouldn't respond because my reputation is ruined. And that there's no point of explaining what you or anyone else did wrong. You might as well go by a different name and start all over. Which, thank God I didn't, because, you know, if I did, I would have looked suspicious, like I had something to hide. And if that were the case, I wouldn't even be making this video. And yet I still decided to listen to anyone related in Kyoto's group anyways. So yeah, that's the reason. The worst part of all this is that if I just hadn't told one of my friends about it, I probably would have been screwed. Also, slightly off topic, but fun Kyoto fact, he likes to say offensive slurs to people, including me.
Like, ooh, faggot, you're a faggot.
While everyone was praising Donna and Kyoto's statements on Twitter, I was getting crazy stuff like child porn memes, I should kill myself, and from the mouth of Kyoto, I need to be worthy. Of what? Bro, of what? Your trust? You mean the trust of the person who hacked my account? You mean the person who I trusted with my password and then changed it into Big Chungus as a way for me to not log back in? The trust of the person who took pictures of my room without any permission whatsoever. That way you can say, guys, he's in a lolly server, only for me to debunk it right away. As a way for you and Donna to take over my account with the intention of calling me out and even going as far as to change my banner into child porn? That is who I need to be worthy of trusting. No.